skip to content. Evan Vucci, Associated Press. President Trump tweeted Sunday that he will order an investigation into whether law enforcement infiltrated or surveilled his presidential campaign for political purposes, escalating an already extraordinary clash between a president and his Justice Department. Decision could lead to a new level of conflict over the Russia investigation, which began as a counterintelligence probe during the 2016 campaign and has continued as a criminal investigation led by Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III. I hereby demand, and will do so officially tomorrow, that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI, DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump. May 20, 2018. Trump had previously warned that he may try to exert more influence at the Justice Department because what's going on is a disgrace. He has harshly criticized Attorney General Jeff Sessions for stepping aside from overseeing the Russia investigation. Melania Trump is back at the White House after an extended hospitalization for a kidney procedure. The White House said the First Lady returned to the White House on Saturday morning. She had been at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center near Washington since having an embolization procedure Monday for an unspecified kidney condition that the White House said was benign. President Trump visited his 48-year-old wife during several of the evenings that she was in the hospital. Diosdado Cabello Center, in Red Ray, shown earlier this year. Associated Press. The Trump administration announced sanctions Friday on a powerful Venezuelan official and his family on the eve of the troubled South American country's presidential election. Diosdado Cabello, head of the ruling Socialist Party, and his wife and brother were blacklisted by the Treasury Department. It accused them of illegally enriching themselves through drug trafficking, money laundering and embezzlement of state funds. Cabello or his representatives own 14 properties and 3 firms in New York and Florida that authorities can seize as part of the sanctions, the Treasury Department said. The Mexican government has lodged a complaint with the U.S. State Department over President Trump's recent assertion that some immigrants living in the United States illegally are animals. A letter sent to the State Department on Thursday criticized Trump for disrespecting human rights, according to a statement from Mexico's foreign ministry. The letter said that the assertions of the U.S. president are absolutely unacceptable, according to the statement. An anti-U.S. protest in Tehran, Iran. AFP, Getty Images. The Trump administration is ratcheting up sanctions on Iran following the president's withdrawal from the 2015 international accord that curbed Tehran's ability to develop nuclear weapons. The Treasury Department on Thursday blacklisted 2 individuals and 5 companies in the Middle East, Africa and Europe that it said were financing the Iran-backed Hezbollah militant group based in Lebanon. The sanctions mean any assets that the persons or companies might have in the United States or in U.S. institutions will be frozen, and Americans cannot do business with the targets. President Trump with his new National Security Advisor, John Bolton, at the White House last month. Nicholas Cam, AFP, Getty Images. President Trump distanced himself Thursday from a controversial remark made by his National Security Advisor, John Bolton, that figured in North Korea's threat to cancel the summit meeting planned for June, and said preparations for the meeting were continuing. Trump also implied that China's President Xi Jinping may be trying to influence the North Koreans to take a harder line with the U.S., perhaps in response to U.S. pressure on trade. Bolton recently suggested that North Korea should follow the model of Libya, which over a decade ago abandoned its effort to build nuclear weapons. The example was sure to anger North Korean officials, who know that Libya's leader, Muammar Gaddafi, lost his job and his life a few years after he gave up his nuclear program. Pablo Martinez Monsiváis, Associated Press. Wow, word seems to be coming out that the Obama FBI spied on the Trump campaign with an embedded informant. Andrew McCarthy says there's probably no doubt that they had at least one confidential informant in the campaign. If so, this is bigger than Watergate. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump. May 17, 2018. President Trump claimed again in a tweet on Thursday that his campaign was spied on by the FBI, drawing a comparison with the Watergate break-in. The latest tweet builds on a claim Trump made previously, without evidence, that President Obama had ordered his phones tapped. In this case, Trump is quoting a former federal prosecutor and columnist for the conservative magazine National Review, Andrew McCarthy, whose appearance on Fox. In an apparent swipe at President Trump, his fired Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, warned Wednesday that going wobbly on truth endangers American democracy. Tillerson, a former Texas oil executive who Trump dismissed in March via Twitter, delivered the commencement address at the Virginia Military Institute. If we do not as Americans confront the crisis of ethics and integrity in our society among our leaders in both public and private sector, and regrettably at times in the nonprofit sector, Tillerson told the graduates, then American democracy as we know it is entering its twilight years. The Senate on Wednesday narrowly advanced a Democratic-led attempt to retain net neutrality regulations, the first step in a long-shot bid to keep the online traffic rules on the federal books before their repeal takes effect in June.